Greece, the cradle of democracy, the place where Aristotle championed reason and the individual over Plato's ideal society, is nowadays a place where, I'll just give you a few facts. The place where you have the highest percentage of supporters for Putin in Europe, according to Pew Research. Fact number 2, the place where government spending has neared 60% of its GDP before the crisis. Fact number 3, the place where we had to masquerade our statistics to be admitted to the euro and to be kept into the euro. At the start of the crisis, Greece was running a staggering deficit of more than 15%, if you can believe it. And that was very well masqueraded under the so-called Greek statistics. And fact number 4, it wasn't until 2011 where, at the request of the Troika, who came to inspect the books in the Ministry of Finance, that the Greek government had to run for the first time in its history a census to understand how many civil servants are under the payroll of the Greek government and the wider public sector. Greece wasn't always like this, though. In the very early days of its membership in the then European Economic Community, the Greek debt-to-GDP ratio stood at just under 30%. It only took 10 years of socialism for this debt-to-GDP ratio to rise to 100%. When I was interviewed for this job by Amjad Bashir, he asked the question, wouldn't be Greece better off outside the euro? And after all, as a good British, he was so proud, and he's still so proud, of Britain taking the decision to keep clear of the euro. My instinct reaction at that time was that Greece is in the same vicinity with Pakistan, according to the Index of Economic Freedom. So I told Amjad that there is more things in common between Greece and Pakistan than just the legacy of Alexander the Great. So this was just a synopsis of the problem in Greece today. What I'm bringing here today with me is two fine economists, perhaps some of the finest that one can get in the free market, true believers in the free markets. On my left-hand side, there is Professor Bernd Lucke. For the Germans here and the MEP and the ECR group, Professor Lucke doesn't need any special introduction. He had the courage, the strength to challenge Chancellor Merkel's decision to bail out Greece. In his view, and I'm sure that many here will agree, the treaties of the EU should be respected by the letter. There should not be any bailouts or transfers, financial transfers. We could have a monetary union without a fiscal union. So the deal is a deal, and the rules are the rules. And if you recall, 2 years ago, the then finance minister of Germany, Wolfgang Schäuble, often offered to the Marxist left, the Greek government, the golden chalice, 50 billion euros in lump sum aid. Not a loan, a lump sum gift, in return of Greece's voluntary departure from the euro. You all know what happened next. The Greeks opted for a referendum where they said no to austerity and no to bailouts, only to see the same government the day after coming to Brussels and requesting a new bailout agreement. You may find this strange. So, on my right-hand side, there is Dr. Miranda Xafar. Miranda Xafar, on top of what you'll see on her bio, is the former top economic advisor of the one and only conservative, truly free market government that Greece ever had in its last 40 years. They only lasted 2 years under the pressure of the trade unions, the populist, and the socialist dreams. I've known Miranda Xafar personally since 2012, when we served time together at the board of a very small political party in Greece called Drasi. We were so brave to go to the Greek society and say that if we really want to reform ourselves, we need to be ready to accept that 4 out of 10 jobs in the public sectors need to be slashed, effective immediately. You can now imagine why we only got 1.8% of the votes from the Greek electorate. So Miranda Xafa will explain why, in her view, and why in the view of many Greek free marketeers, a Grexit is all pain, no gain. As we speak, the European Union and the Greek government are happy to announce that there is an end to the long saga of bailouts. In summer this year, Greece is expected, according to all official announcements, to come out clean. Is that so? Both Professor Luque and Miranda Xafa will express their serious concerns because there may be things hiding under the carpet. So the true question here is, should Greece exit the euro? Would this be a condition for the Greek growth to be restarted? Is the Greek reform agenda completed, or is it not? And finally, will Greece finally manage to climb up the economic freedom ladder in the short to medium run? So without any further ado, may I just pass the floor to Professor Luque, and as I hinted before, this is meant to be a discussion rather than a series of 2 monologues. So I'm going to give 5 to 7 minutes to each of the 2 speakers, and then with your agreement, we will open the floor to questions from the audience. Thank you very much.